Okay, hello. Wow, that's a little bit bright. That's a little bit bright. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Mackenzie, if you're new, and if you're not, I'm Mackenzie. Today I'm taking a little bit of a break from the ex-mormon content. That doesn't mean that I will stop doing that because it's still like something that I really love to talk about, but as you can imagine, talking about religion online is historically one of the most controversial and contentious things. Oh, and I wanted to mention I recently hit 4,000 subscribers, so thank you so much if you subscribed. It's so exciting to see my channel grow. So I've set up a little table right here, and we're gonna make some jewelry today. So we're just gonna dive right in. I'm not really sure which ones I'm going to make. I got these little bunny beads. I have to do the beauty YouTuber thing. And then these little piggy ones. Can't really. Usually I make origami jewelry, and other ones I'll insert pictures right here. I thought it would just be easier to show you my Instagram, so here's some examples of the jewelry that I make. You can go check them out if you want to. Wow, look at that. Alright, bye. Usually I bring them into the shop where I work, but I also launched my Etsy shop not that long ago, and I sell some jewelry there too. I've got all my supplies right here, by the way, down right here. I'll try to keep it over here so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit. I guess just an update on my life. I'm still getting used to the amount of comments that I get. It's not that there's so many, it's just that it happens so quickly and that I'm not really used to it. I think it's weird for any one person to receive so much anonymous feedback on themselves. That's not really something that I think we're built for as people. Just like figuring out a way to moderate that and pace myself, because once you get the same kind of hateful comments over and over again, it's like, well, maybe I should stop ingesting that. I expected that going into it because of the content that I was creating and the topics that I was covering. I expected a lot of pushback from members of the church and people who didn't like what I was saying. But knowing that it's going to happen and actually experiencing it are two completely different things. Since my Why I Left the Church video, a lot of people comment like, I hope you're doing well now, and I really am. I'm doing a lot better since then. Not that I wasn't doing well then, but I'm just constantly growing and, you know, learning and improving. That's nice. That's a good little update. I think it's mostly been a combination of mostly therapy, journaling, practicing certain skills, a lot of DBT skills. If anybody's familiar with therapy language, I've tried to get a little bit into, you know, mindfulness, being present, meditation, stuff like that, but it's still something that I really struggle with. I experience a lot of anxiety and a lot of sensory overload, a lot of overwhelm, stuff like that. But if anything, I have really just been working on and have gained this new vocabulary and this new toolbox for myself. So just one difference that I've noticed in myself is that as I become more comfortable with myself and get to know myself more, I'm able to create more things. It just recognize my own strengths, because it was strange because I didn't know myself that well before. I didn't even know the characteristics that I had. This is kind of difficult because I talk with my hands. Second pair done. I think I'll set up my phone to do a little time lapse. This is a lot of multitasking, and I'm not sure if I've ever been very good at multitasking. I don't know very many people that are. Something that I have always struggled with is perfectionism. And I don't think I'm unique in that. I think it's something pretty common. I was one of those good grades kind of kids, kind of smart, gifted, not kind of smart, I was smart. And I learned how to read pretty early, and I just took a lot of pride in my scholastic accomplishments. Like in middle school, I was kind of known as the shy, smart girl. The tall girl. In elementary school especially, I was very, very tall. I'm only 5'6", 5'7", but I was that tall in elementary school, so I've always struggled with perfectionism, and anxiety and imposter syndrome pretty severely. And as an adult, it's interesting how that kind of plays out. You know, as I've been going to therapy, I've been working on myself and just all aspects of myself, really, and that perfectionism is definitely involved, because you can be perfectionistic about anything. I used to feel that way about, you know, my church activities, my church involvement, and my grades. Definitely, once I became kind of more of an adult person with an adult brain, it was difficult for me to overcome all of that perfectionism, and I began to have this paralyzing fear and lack of motivation, and I wouldn't do something if it wouldn't be perfect. And I still do that quite often. I see it a lot in my YouTube channel. I see it a lot in all aspects of my life, really. I saw a video about this topic, and I'll link it down below because it was a good video, but the video was basically about, if you are always worried about making the right choice to the point where you don't make any choice, then you'll always make the wrong choice. Dropped a bead somewhere. And so if you just focus on doing things and make them purposely not as good as they could be, then you'll get in the habit of being able to do more things. The quality of your work improves if you just keep practicing, and if you never practice, then it will never get better. I'm gonna move on to making the little pig beads. I'm gonna insert a clip of them because I don't think you can see them very well. So now the thing is, I've overcome a little bit of that initial fear of starting and making it 100% perfect. If I did that, I wouldn't have uploaded any of the videos that I have. But now what I'm running into is, instead of stressing about making things perfect, I'm stressing about making the perfect amount of things, which is many. I need to accomplish every single thing that I set out to do. Like, I set these expectations for myself, and it's hard to know where expectations come from, right? Because it's like, I wouldn't have any expectations if there weren't at some point in my life some expectations placed on me or taught in some way that this is what you should do. But it's like, does my internalized guilt and shame come from myself? No, it doesn't. But does it play out like that because now it's a self-feeding loop? Yes. So I make these plans and these expectations for myself, and then I cannot handle it when they go astray or awry in any way. And it's just a different brand of perfectionism that I'm really struggling with at the moment, because I just don't want to slow down, because I don't want to go back to that point where I didn't feel like I could accomplish anything. But then I'm overworking myself too, and I just cannot find that balance and that moderation. There is a certain amount of hard work that needs to be done to get anywhere and to accomplish anything, and I don't want to be afraid of hard work, but it's almost like I get too freaked out about it too quickly. So my life has become just this huge list of tasks. I don't know if I want my life to be seen through that lens all the time. It's just a series of to-do lists, because then I'm never really being present. But I'm sure that's something that I'll be able to work on more, and I know that I can't expect progress immediately. I can't expect myself to automatically know how to balance these things when I haven't before. It's all kind of new. So that's just something that I've been thinking about lately, as I have been working so hard, just being like aware of when my body needs rest, and I'm very bad at it. I'm very, very bad at it. But hopefully I will get better at it eventually, and I won't get so much burnout. I made a video many years ago about my struggle with mental illness and just anxiety and depression and all that. I'm not even sure when I made that. I was probably 19 or 20. I'm 23 now. I get a lot of comments on that even still, because I think a lot of people relate to that experience of being very tired and very anxious and exhausted all the time. But also it was a revelation to me to realize that not everyone experiences that. Like, I would go to my doctor and I'd be like, does everyone feel like they can't do things and they can't get out of bed and they just have such a hard time like being alive? And my doctor was like, no, not at all. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I've got one more pair of earrings to make. I'm gonna do these little ladybugs. For these earrings, I think I'm going to add some chain so that they have a longer drop length. That video that I made was helpful for me to be able to look at how far I've come. It's only in the past, year or so that I've even felt capable of having a job, which was not a very pleasant place to be. It was a place of a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear. I'm just gonna stab the head with this needle. Usually I heat up the needle, but I don't. The rubber is pretty soft, so I don't really think I need to do that. I'm just gonna take a little eye pin. It's got a little hook on the end and some super glue, and just stab it in. Something I learned from my therapist is the idea of keeping track of your progress and checking in with yourself often, because it feels good and it's encouraging, and you need to be able to have a clear picture of how far you've come. What was it all for if you don't even recognize all that you've accomplished? So that's a lot of what I get when I watch that video, but also I realize a lot of the struggles that I had then, I still have now. I'm just better at coping with it, and I don't really have answers like I hoped that I would at this point in my life. But it's not for lack of trying, and maybe the answers are just maybe not even as important as just having tools and a vocabulary from my experience. Now, if there was like a magic cure to make sure that I never experienced poor sleep or sensory overload or anxiety or depression ever again, I would definitely take that opportunity. But I do what I can, and it's very slow but sure. And I've also gotten a lot better at my self-talk. I obviously watch a lot of Zelf on the Shelf. If you're ex-mormon and you're here, you probably know Zelf on the Shelf. Favorite ex-mormon YouTube channel, and they were really influential for me when I first left the church. And but they do a lot of videos about mindfulness, emotional regulation, which I think is something that is very needed in the ex-mormon community. But just stuff like learning when your body says no, learning how to communicate with your feelings, learning what feelings are and naming them when you experience them in your body. That's all stuff that I find very valuable. A lot of that ties in with DBT skills. I didn't really expect to talk about most of the things that I talked about, but that's all right. I didn't really have a plan anyways. Because like I said, there's lots of other things to me besides ex-mormon, but then at the same time, they're all quite affected by being raised Mormon, because when you're raised Mormon, it's, at least in the way that I was, it's quite a big part of your personality and the way that you see the world, and so that inadvertently shapes the way that your brain forms as a very, very young child. I saw someone on TikTok, she phrased it really well. I'll put the name of the person somewhere on the screen. But she said that she was taught to be Mormon before she was taught to be herself. And I think all the time what it would be like to be able to like actually go through my own brain and see what underlying messages are hidden in there. And not that I like blame my parents or anything. That's the whole thing of reparenting, is that we're all raised in ways that don't 100% satisfy our needs as an adult. I get comments sometimes that's like, why would you want to be defined by something that harmed you or something that you no longer identify with, or blah, 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 blah. But that's kind of my response to it, is it's because I am defined by it. I mean, not defined, but I choose to acknowledge my upbringing, my past, my culture. I think those comments just come from people that think it's okay to question people's experiences and question people's feelings and trauma and feel like they are being really smart by like demanding proof, as if that's even something that you can deliver scientific data about. And that there's just this whole group of people on the internet that when they are confronted with someone's experience that makes them uncomfortable or conflicts with their own, they immediately lash out and invalidate and deny that person's experience, and in order to make themselves feel better because they can't handle their worldview being challenged, which is the place that I've been in. I understand cognitive dissonance really well, but there's just a certain amount of grossness in doing that, in going to someone's pain and going, you didn't really feel that. I feel like I should have realized that making a video about South Park would attract a mostly male audience, but for some reason I was really caught off guard by that. So I got a lot of comments about like my body and just uncomfortable stuff like that. And it's never about me, and I realized that. I realized that it's never really about me. Sam from Self on the Shelf made a video about how discouraged she was about all of the men in her comments telling her to shut up or that she talks too much. I got those kind of comments in a video where it was just me. It's like, okay, why did you come to the video then if you didn't want to hear me say any words? I think that's just a really difficult reality of being a woman on a public platform. My battery died and is dying, so I have to do this quick. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I know this one was a little different, a little more casual, a little more rambly. If you'd like to subscribe to me, I make videos every time I feel like it. So subscribe for my erratic posting schedule. I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you were curious about my Etsy shop, I'll link it down below. I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!